What's going on, team? How we doing out there? I'm ready to get back into the hot seat, into some live trading action. It looks like we finally broke the range on the SPY. Now it's time to find out, do we get continuation moves? Tesla down big today. CRM ripping through right now. And then, of course, our disaster stock of the day, Silvergate Capital, soon to be, I don't know, just maybe Silvergate without the capital part. But we'll talk all about that right here on Live Trading with Benzinga. If you guys haven't done so before, do me the favor today. Hit the share button and let all your friends and traders out there know this is the one place that you want to be that truly supports its community. And what do I mean by that? We don't allow anybody hating on each other in the chat. We're all here to support each other. Maybe it might not be one of those pumping chat rooms, but I'll tell you what, I'd much rather be in a processed approach, supporting environment that actually helps each other build our skills. Let's get right to the trading action. You guys are here, live trading with Benzinga. Let's get those chicken dinners.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, let's get right to it. Let's bring on Ryan. How we doing out there? We're ready to get to the trading action. You guys smash the like button out there, and definitely disaster stock of the day for sure in that SI. I mean, if I was an investor, I'd definitely be scared. It seems like they can't present their 10K report to the SEC. Ryan, I don't know about you, but I've been in stocks for a while. If I hear that, I'd be definitely scared to my bones, because I mean, let's just be honest.
That's a match the sell button event.
Yeah.
You cannot turn the proper stuff over to the SEC. You are not somebody that should be in my portfolio. Totally.
No, and it scares me. I mean, if I was a CFO there, I'd be counting my days, because it probably won't be long till he's gone. We'll see what happens. This is one of those situations where you got to be careful. And I think that you're going to start seeing a lot of people struggle with certain types of stocks like that. I've talked about it for a while. Will we get into this situation where these zombie types of stocks start disappearing and going into bankruptcy will be a sign of bottoming actually for me? Because I've been waiting for that type of stuff to happen. It hasn't yet happened really. And we'll see. Do we start hearing mentions of that? Bankruptcy starting to go on, especially maybe some of these smaller companies that are just like pennies burning cash and hanging on by a thread. We'll see what happens to those. All right, let's get to the SPY action. We did finally cut through those lows. I've talked about it for a while now, 394. And look at this pattern. Now we're really starting to cut down. Now, the only thing that I would say today is that we're already a little bit heavy on the day. So be careful. We could bounce back towards that 394 and look to try to establish that as resistance, right? That's what I could see towards the open. I think we're going to get some more chop out there. Be careful with the chop trading, right? Now, there is one stock today that I'm definitely getting just straight destroyed on. You guys can call me the hanger today, because I'm definitely getting the hanger on today. Burlington just crushing me today, guys. And this is how it's going to happen sometimes. You never know when you're going to be the guy that's on the hanger. Today, that's me today. In Burlington, getting crushed today, team. I swung this yesterday, and it was a small position, so at least it's not going to ruin me, right? I always like to make sure that not one trade makes us and not one trade breaks us. But in this case, definitely taking a big beating on Burlington, and a little frustrated because today is one of those days where I can give a little bit of a line, right? I got destroyed on a stock that maybe I should have just been not into. And then on a stock that I did have high conviction, I cut it early. Soft hands, paper hands, whatever you want to call it. I definitely got scared out of Best Buy. And I'm not too upset because I listened to my plan, at least. I said yesterday that I needed to take some profit in Best Buy. And we were even here when we cut through 81.77. I had profit takes at 81.50 yesterday. Missed it by about 20 cents. And with that being said, ended up taking the profit in the name. But after the earnings down here towards the 80s, oh yeah, we would have been banking big on this Best Buy. So, hey, you live and you learn. And one thing that you'll never see me do here, team, is be afraid of telling you guys about losses. Nah, they happen, team. And I'm going to let you guys know always and be transparent about it. But let's kick it to Ryan. Let's take a look at what stocks are moving today.
So what happened? Did you take Burlington ahead of an earnings print?
Yes. It was a little bit of a gamble into the earnings print, but the big thing for me on Burlington is that it has no business, in my eyes, being up here. It's up over 104% since October. Who the hell is going shopping at Burlington so much that the stock is up 104%? But that just goes to show you that sometimes stocks can disconnect from what reality really is and just keep pushing. It seems like Burlington is that type of stock right now. I mean, this stock was at $100 just in October. Now is $227. So to me, this is very extended. But hey, to each his own. I definitely ran into a dragon today. And with that being said, there's stocks like Dillard's that just don't turn around. Even though the story may not seem like it could keep going, it definitely does sometimes. Hey, and that's how it is. I don't normally take stocks into earnings. Very rarely do I do that. You guys know I don't do that often. And I don't think that there's a never situation into earnings, because if you never take a stock into earnings, I mean, do you ever hold positions long term? I mean, let's just be honest, right? If you're holding a position long term, you're going to have to hold through some earnings. I think the big thing there is always just understanding what your risk is being defined. And for me, that was a very small position. So I was looking for a bigger move down there towards like 200. That's the only way I would have actually made some type of money also in this trade, just to keep it in mind, small risk. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and just to be clear here, I think what Jay means here is don't take a new trade into earnings. And if you do trade for the binary event of the earnings print, use options and define your risk, which is what he goes on to say. You hear me say that all the time. That's how I trade earnings. I will often buy contracts. Well, if I'm going to trade an earnings print, I will do it with contracts as opposed to stock. But Mitch, to your point, yeah, I mean, I've been holding Apple for years. I've been holding Apple since 2014. So I've seen many earnings prints. I've taken that stock into many earnings prints, but it's different if you have a long-term approach, especially if you have gigantic profits in it as well. So lesson learned, that's what trading earnings can do, right? It's a gamble. It is a binary event. When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're right, you're right. So
that's how it is. And it doesn't mean that Burlington can't come back down, because it was just breaking down through that 220s. So one thing that I will do is I'm going to be looking at it out the open. I'm just going to piece out of it. I still haven't even essentially gotten out of it. I need to work it towards the open here. So you guys will see me during the open just working out of my Burlington. It's a small position. So I'm not really worried. Even if it was going up there to like 230s, I could just get out at the 230.
You might even get a pullback at the open.
That's what I'm looking for, is just to limit the damage at the open. So looking for that downside action just to limit the damage here. But hey, we'll see. If it just gives us a little bit of spike at the open, I'm also just going to run from it.
Yeah.
All right, getting out of that one, let's go ahead. We'll keep going. I can talk about some other trades that I have in the green, but that's not a stress because Burlington was the more focused stock to talk about, at least for me. I'm going to kick it to Ryan here. He's taking a look at the chart. What do you see, my friend?
Yep. Well, a couple of things. First of all, I did hold a stock into earnings yesterday, Portillo's, which is one of my longer term holds here. Talked about it before. They reported earnings, beat on the bottom line, miss on sales. They were trading up here earlier. So I did. Now, Portillo's currently at 22.38. One of the reasons you don't hear me talk about it a lot is because my cost basis is in the 17s, low 17s. So I generally don't try to talk about longer term investments that I'm up massively on, because it's no benefit to the viewers. But since we were just talking about earnings prints, I held that into earnings yesterday. I've held it into several earnings. I'm playing that for the multi-year 600 store expansion plan. I think that this stock can print 100 at some point in the future. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. But I digress. Let's take a look at the SPY here, and then we'll go into some of the stocks that we talked about yesterday and today. First of all, SPY here, we continue to trade down. We now have 3 straight closes below this trend line. So this last move up here, this trend up that we had, this looks invalidated at this point now. So the question really is how low do we go and where does the next bounce take us? You can see here, next up on the deck here is going to be the 100-day moving average. We're pretty much right below the 200. 200 I have at 393. We're currently at 392.50. So we're right below the 200. Next here is going to be the 100-day moving average. I've got that at 391.33. And then below that is probably going to find some support at the top of this channel. That's at about 388 and change. So this is where I think the SPY is going. We did get a print here this morning. The initial jobless claims. I think we have some more data tomorrow as well. So we will see. But I'm going to do my best to not care about the data tomorrow, as I will not be around for that. All right, let's move over to the movers tool. And we got to address the first stock we have to address is CDIO. We were talking yesterday. We told you yesterday that this stock might have a big move in the afternoon. We got several waves of moves. And I think that the big thing to really keep in mind here is I know I talk about it every day, and it's probably boring hearing the same thing every day, but it is all about the volume, especially when you're taking a new trade that is day trade as part of the plan. It is all about the volume. We had nothing going on CDIO. We had the levels defined. We're basically range bound. We had one attempt to cross the VWAP. We really just kind of hung in here and traded sideways. And remember, I said, well, the fact that it's not breaking down is really good news, because that is going to perhaps allow this thing to really run to the upside in the afternoon. And then look at what happened. We start to get an expanding volume starting at about 1208, and that just continues for the rest of the session. CDIO moves from 339 up to a high of 7 and change. 717, I believe, is your high print. So just an absolutely massive move. This actually once it started to develop its upside strength, this actually gave us some of the range break trades that have been successful for us in the past. Here's what I'm talking about. This 428 level that it butt up against, maybe 429 or even 430 there. I just kind of eyeballed the line. It butted up against this a few times, and then boom, when it broke it, and it did it on volume, and then it actually stayed above it. In fact, it tried to back test that level, never quite getting there, and then pushed away again. And you can see it actually did this several times, right? So it did this again at about $5, where it pushed through on volume. Notice that these big waves up correspond with these big volume sticks. This is exactly what we're trying to hit. Then it started to flag a little bit again, and boom, took the next leg up. And then it looks like it did it yet again here at the $6 level. So this is the type of thing that we're looking for. In this case, we really didn't get that upside strength until we had that volume flow in. Once that volume came in, there was no chance at stopping this. Now, here we have another gap up this morning. So let's see what's going to happen here today. First things first, I think that just because of the run that it had yesterday, I think that you're going to get some chasing. So I would not be surprised if this has a very short-lived spike out of the open. On the same token, or on the other hand, not to bite John Fort, but on the other hand here, you have a lot of people that are probably up on this stock, especially if there were people that bought this yesterday and they're waking up this morning and they're seeing how much they're up on it. You can expect some traders to take some profit. That should drag the price down. So because I'm not confident on which direction this is going to move next, I'm going to wait for it to settle and set up. Sound familiar? That's what we do a lot here. Wait for the potential setups. And in fact, taking a look at this would be one of the areas we're right there, right about that 7 line. Let's see if we end up holding that. I've got VWAP here at 735. So we'll see where this ends up going to. CDIO, I expect this to be in play today. We'll see. If you're this is the type of move that I don't even consider shorting. So if you're a shorter, if you play to the short side and you're looking for this to come back into the mean, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do to help you. I trade these things. I trade these momentum movers to the long side, not to the short side. So if you're going to go through that, I would appreciate that you go ahead through your plan, your levels, and your stop in case that doesn't work. Shorting some of these momentum runners can be extremely dangerous, and I just don't want to see anyone get hurt. CDIO, though, awesome. I saw a couple of people mentioning the warrants in the chat as well. So if you wanted to trade the warrants, you could do that too. That's going to be CDIOW. Warrants generally are going to be much cheaper, so you can load up on them. But CDIO, CDIOW, just massive moves yesterday. We expect some more fireworks here today. If we take a look at the rest of the movers tool, let's go through some of the things that we see here. First one's going to be BRTX. This is bio-restorative therapy. So again, this kind of fitting the theme that we've seen in some of these smaller cap names. Bio-restorative therapeutics. Therapeutics, okay. Shares are trading higher after the company announced the United States Patent and Trademark Office has issued a notice of allowance for a patent application released to the company's ThermoStem program. So patents do occasionally make stocks move. Not my favorite catalyst here. Well, we'll often see pullbacks as well. I am going to go ahead and mark off some of these levels because I think they'll likely be in play today. We shall see. But again, with patent news, this is not like the cancer news that we've seen that made some of these stocks move before. OCEA comes to mind, for example. This is not the same type of catalyst. So it could trade up here, but again, let's wait for it to actually set up. Let's try to we just talked about playing earnings and binary prints and defining your risk. Let's try and be as tactical as possible so we can have the safest possible trade. No trade is safe. You're always dealing with risk, but let's try and put as many things in our favor as we can. Let's wait for BRTX to set up. Next here is going to be ONCS. So it looks like we're going to have another day here on ONCS. Yesterday, we did get a pop right out of the open, which we played, which was really, really sweet. We didn't get much the rest of the day. Now, the good news here is that we really didn't break down all that much. Sure, we came back in from those highs, but we really didn't break down past 2, and it tried. It tried a few times and was just unable to do that. Now, what you see here this morning is some more strength, and we're popping to the highs. Now, if we remember from yesterday, if we take a look at yesterday, we had kind of the same thing, right? We had a move up, then we had the second leg up, it consolidated in a range, and then we had that big move up out of the open. So let's see if we get that again here today. I'm going to be very, very careful on this. The last thing that I want to do is give back any of the gains that I made yesterday on a repeat play here. But again, I do think that we might have an opportunity here. So if this sets up like it did yesterday, we should have another opportunity. Let's see if this comes back in, holds 260. This 260 line lines up quite nicely with the 263 VWAP. Should be ample support there. Let's see what happens on ONCS here today. Next is going to be MTC off the list here. This is MM Tech. Now, this stock popped as high as what did we get all the way up to 320? Not quite. 313. We've retraced a lot of that move. We're coming back down here. I don't necessarily, let's see what kind of news they have. We don't really have much news here, at least not as identified by us. So really kind of no catalyst here. This would be more of a technical trade. I'll probably put this on the back burner. Worth mentioning, worth keeping on watch, but we might have some better opportunities here today. I'm going to go ahead and actually I want to get that one in there. There we go. So we might have some more opportunities on this today. This one not the best. We'll see where this ends up going. Really, first things first here, it has to hold 2. Next is going to be DM. So this is Desktop Metals. And as you can see, this stock really ripping here in the pre-market and on volume. Now, we do have a catalyst here. Desktop Metal shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q4 sales and issued guidance. So let's see where we go on Desktop Metals. I'm going to mark off the high here, 198. Low, we're still in this range between 182, and 198. Let's see if we can actually pop the top here or if we come back in. One thing to note here is we are a little bit extended away from the VWAP. So if the first move here is down, that should actually set up a little bit better for us. CRM, this was an earnings beat. So Jay, I think it was you yesterday that said you were leaning bearish on CRM. They just huge beat and really strong guidance. I think that's what's really bringing it up here. But you had also made a comment about Kramer or Benioff better not deliver a bad quarter, or Kramer's gonna. I can't remember exactly what you said, and I really don't want to put words in your mouth. But looks like Benioff did put out that good quarter. We're trading up here considerably on CRM. We're up 26.5 points or 16%. I think that this might actually have a gap and go, right? So I think if this maintains some strength and has some buyers right out of the open, you can probably play this using a gap and go strategy. I know some people people have more complicated gap and go strategies. Mine is very simple. Basically, just use the 9 EMA. If it crosses through the 9 EMA and stays above it, you can stay in the trade. When it comes back through the 9 EMA, you can get out of the trade. So that works with options and stock. We'll see if CRM gives us a gap and go here right out of the open. If it doesn't show strength right out of the open, this might come back in. We'll see if it sets up. Options are very, very liquid on CRM. So if this is the stock that you want to trade, you should easily be able to do that. I see Burlington coming in a little bit here for Mitch. And Mitch is away from his computer. That is a shame. Hopefully it comes in a little bit more for him. We already talked about CDIO. We'll just focus on stocks that come off the relative volume scanner here. I was looking at Portillo's. Let's go ahead and watch CDIO out of the open here. Perfect. And we have our unusual options working here today as well. Perfect. All right, let's see what we get here. Let's watch CDIO first. Silvergate hanging in there. It looks like it's bouncing off that 670 level. But all right, CDIO trying to break this 750 level here. My chart looks like it's a little bit behind. That's very strange. Yeah. Okay. Now it's pulling back here sub 7 on CDIO. So we want to wait for this to set up. Sorry. Looks like I actually, both of my charts, both my broker and pro look a little bit off, probably my internet connection. Let me go ahead and add some lines to this chart so I can visualize it. Oh man, what's going on? Internet not happy this morning, folks. I got to go feed the mouse some more cheese. So he starts pedaling a little bit faster and gets these speeds up. CDIO coming in here a little bit, coming back down to 690. Let's see where we end up settling. All right, so we are below the VWAP here. We really want this to actually kind of settle. Mitch, glad you're back. Looked like that first move on Burlington was down. I was concerned that you were not at your machine.
No, I was just kind of like in the background, and I'm just looking right now to see if we get a VWAP rejection here, because I think it could. If it rejects here, it could come right back down through even my levels. So I'm just going to give it a slight chance here. Like I said, 224s is the concerning area. But remember, the spread on Burlington is massive. So
yeah, it is.
That's where you got to be a little bit careful. The spread sometimes is as wide as a full point.
$1. It's a full point right now.
Yeah. So you got to be careful on things like that, right? So I'm just looking at it right now. Nothing's going on. It's just kind of rejecting. It's at VWAP. Now we'll find out if VWAP bounces or VWAP rejects. That's what's going to determine it for me right now.
ONCS
if it rejects here, I could get back.
Say again?
If it rejects here for some reason and cuts back through the 220s, that's actually a daily rejection back into the daily range. So who knows? Maybe this one goes green to red today.
ONCS
is one that I'm watching on
here. Let's see if it bounces. I'm sorry, Mitch was talking.
Oh, you're
over
good,
you.
My friend. That's just because we're both looking at stuff right now. I did get an alert for Roblox, just to kind of mention. Big rip here for Roblox. And you guys know I don't even look at this stock, but I have an alert set. Look at that big push, 37 to 37.80s here. Nice little push there for Roblox. And one of the things is you can see it starting to get back through some hourly levels to the left. Hourly levels put it around 37.80s, 37.90s. So if it can get to the 38 handle, it should have a little bit of room to run. It's at 37.86. Still have Picard from yesterday. That one turned into a nice little swing. I'm looking to see if that can push above 73s now. And then I have AU. AU's right near my entry of 17. Going to look to see if it can push back up. And if it can pull back to the VWAP here, slightly below 17, I might add for the move back towards 18. It's just chopping around right now. I'm not doing much, but it didn't give me much yesterday. It just moved around, and I was just sitting in the green.
All right. So on CDIO here, we're still seeing some selling volume. I'm just kind of waiting for that to turn around. Noticed a couple of people were talking about ATXI. It's holding in there. It's holding the pre-market support, but it's not really. Is my chart screwed up again? BCB, what's going on? Or did I get the wrong ticker? ATXI? No. What is the
out there on Burlington? Towards the 225s, 29, definitely got out off the offer there just to get the hell out of there. Took it. I'm out, team. Took the beating today, and definitely going to take it easy today. As of course, probably not feeling in the zone, right? I can clearly tell. You got to know when you're in the zone, when you're not in the zone. So I'm going to size down today just to keep myself trading, but at the same time, not going to take more damage today. Got to stay focused, get back into what I know best. And Best Buy was a good outlook, right? It's not looking too bad. It's bouncing, rejecting the VWAP right now, but I'm not going to go shorting into Best Buy because I would just feel like I'm chasing a name that I clearly had yesterday into the green. We'll see what happens right now. Energy into the red. Everything's into the red here from the open except defensive names. But looking to see if Tesla bounces today. It's already bouncing towards 188.74s. If it bounced to 200, that's where I would look for maybe a little bit of a short, but we'll see what happens on that. And then just looking around, you guys naming some stocks out there. CRM dipping on the open.
Yeah, this is good here too. MPAEHR could be down on the Tesla move to reduce the carbon component. So I actually hadn't looked into any of these. If you want to take a look at those stocks, Mitch, I think that's probably next.
Yeah, LAC
CRM
getting a hit.
Here is down.
Yeah, a lot of lithium names taking a hit there. So I'll give you that, Jay. It could be definitely getting hit on that.
CDIO, sorry, I took it off the screen here real quick. CDIO popping, big volume here. Let's go over to CDIO. ONCS crossing through the VWAP 2 here. So if we get any type of volume expanding on ONCS, might be an opportunity to take that here. Again, CDIO, as soon as that selling volume turned to buying volume, and look at it on the chart, it is as clear as day as far as indicators go. As soon as that volume changed over from selling to buying, bang, we popped right through 710, went right through VWAP, went all the way up to 775. Not a coincidence. Pulling back a little bit now towards the VWAP. Let's see where we go next here on CDIO. I have no position. I'm late to this. I took it off my screen. I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give anything back here. I am getting some notifications about my flight, so bear with me for a sec.
One stock that I'm looking to see if it's going to reverse today, they give a fake out to the upside, is Oracle. So I'm keeping an eye out on that one. But of course, if CRM is just pulling back so hard, it could be hard to catch this one. But I'm looking at it right now for a little bit of a risk trade off the lows towards 85.80s here. I'm going to go ahead and get a starter here right now. I got the starter right there at 86.08, holding off that candle on the opening action of 85.82s. I'll do 85.80s here. I'm going to look for Oracle to make an up move back towards 86.50s. And if it could do that, we could start getting some upside. This is tough of sympathy off the report from Salesforce, of course. This is just a similar company. You're going to look to see what happens here. I can add in the 90s. Would have to risk off that 80s, though. Don't want it to break that.
Okay, everything's good here. CDIO busting through that 775, challenging 8 here. Let's see if we pop above 8. We did stop at 8. I don't see anything on the level 2 right now of note. I'll let you know if that changes here. Sure looks like this is going to try to go above 8. We'll see. Yep, some size at 8. Bang, right through it. This thing's going to be strong again today, isn't it? A little bit more size there at 8.11 that they took. Some more size here at 8.15. Let's see if they take that. Yep, see you later. 8.25. Good Lord, what a bounce on CDIO. Okay, so first of all, if for any reason you were playing this bounce, maybe even this confirmation or maybe even the move through the VWAP, any buys here, 732 and under, trim and trail, you got another dollar move here right out of the open. Amazing. Sydney hitting CDIO warrants. Let's go. Folks are all over this. Crow, you're in ONCS. That was setting up 2 here. Let's see if we can actually test 3. I'm going to come right back to CDIO, but I want to check on ONCS. All right, so we're still kind of playing around here with the VWAP. My thought on this, Crow, I don't know. I know that you have your own trading plan, which is awesome. You got some pretty strong hands as well. I really, I'm looking at 260 here, right? If this breaks through 260, I would just wait for it to set up again. Maybe we get a pop towards 280 and then a move towards 3. We shall see. Let's go back here to CDIO, as that looks like that's flirting with 8 again.
I did get a pullback fill there for Oracle. Average towards the 86.03s, looking for the push up here. Risk off the 80s.
All right, CDIO looks like we pulled back from 850, still hugging around 8 here. Let's see if this ends up getting some more upside momentum here. Looking around for some other stuff.
All right, looking around to see what's getting into the green here. Just trying to pay attention to see if there's any sector that's starting to leak into the green. There's not much. The SPY is just bouncing off this 392.40 spot. Very important spot to look a little bit earlier, a little bit later will be 392s for downside action. But for right now, you are getting a little bit of a bounce in the SPY. Let's see if we take out the first kind of opening range that we went towards 393.16. Let's see a 5-minute close above 393s to show us that we are getting a little bit of a bounce on the day. Doesn't mean it's going to be a big rip, but we could get a little bit of a bounce, right?
ONCS, Crow. We got a nice pop there right up to 290. We're pulling back here a little bit from 290. Nice pop there. Let's see if we can go a little bit higher here on ONCS. Good grab right out of the gate, Crow. You've been on top of this. HPX from yesterday, is this halted?
CRM still pulling back there.
Yep. Yeah, CRM week out of the gate. That 9 EMA not really working.
I'm going to see if it can recover 189s. This is the 1 hour pullback on CRM. So you can see right there, we're just putting that kind of little candle for the reversal action. You can look on the 1 hour. You can see over here, there's a kind of the 185 area on this. Definitely that was the low on their candle there, but around the 192 area, or actually the 189 is where this opened up. 112, 189, 112. I'm looking to see if that starts acting as support for CRM. It comes at least back to 191.50s around the VWAP. All right, I'll put the SPY on the left here. CRM in the middle.
CDIO pulling all the way back to its VWAP here. Actually, it's beneath its VWAP. Excuse me. Way beneath its VWAP. Excuse me. All the way back towards 7 here on CDIO.
She's starting to get a little bit of a lift.
ONCS looking like this is going to try and go here. CRM might be trying to bounce.
All right, just got a alert. That's Best Buy though, pushing back Best Buy.
Yeah, you guys trading ONCS here. I agree. I think if this holds this leg up here without really retracing back down to the VWAP or back to where it came from, I think it's likely going to try and pop this top and go towards 3. I'm with you there 100%. We'll see. I don't know for sure if that's going to happen, but that's sure what it feels like from looking at the chart here. Here we go on ONCS. Let me watch the level 2 on this and see if we can gain any information from that. 290 your high print. Not huge amounts of size, at least from what I can see at the moment. Let's see if that changes the higher we get here. Bringing in a little size there at 280, and they took it. Whew. Still got some buyers out here. Let's just get a volume pop here and just run towards 3. 20 cents. I think we should easily be able to do that if we get some good volume on this move.
AU just kind of trading sideways right now. I did get a little bit of a pop back up. I'm looking for some pullbacks to 1705s, and then I'm going to start adding in on the gold trade there for AU.
Here we go on ONCS. Sorry, Mitch, little size there at 286. They took it some more at 290. They hit it, but they couldn't take it. Let's see if they try that 290 spot again here. I think if that 290 goes, we go to 3, folks.
All right, like that For
Sorry.
Oracle, now really looking for 86 to hold here and it start pushing back up. CRM starting to come a little bit back, and we'll look to see if the Qs can get a little bit of a spike here.
Big knife to VWAP here on ONCS. ONCS. This is when it gets a little tough. It's kind of all over the place right now. Popping and knifing.
Q's is hanging out right now. It could make a move up. We'll see if he makes a move to 289.50s. That's
Yeah,
here to
Leo.
the left.
Leo, it was rejected at that 290. It took out the size at 285, and then it tried to take out the size at 290 and couldn't. As soon as it couldn't, as soon as it was rejected right there, pulled it back in. Ashton, I appreciate stuff like this. I really appreciate people that are trying to discern patterns. Pattern trading has been very, very successful. Ashton says, I've been noting something strange. The way we open is the opposite way we close. For example, if we open red today, we may close green if what I'm noticing holds true. Something to keep in mind there. I'm always looking for any type of pattern that I can trade, whether it's the broader market, an individual name, a sector, a theme, anything like that. If you can identify patterns and trade them, that can be very, very helpful. CRM trying to bounce here, by the way.
Yeah, Oracle's starting to get moving. 86.13s now. I'm looking for the push to 86.50s. Is going to take majority of it out there, and that would be a nice little win to start the day. And then we'll look for it to kind of keep pushing on the daily levels. But looking for a nice little push here. It's starting to get moving. Really need kind of the Qs to continue through that 289.50s if I'm going to get this. SI being mentioned. What's SI doing? Is it bouncing a little bit? Yeah, it's bouncing a little bit. Just be careful out there, team, trying to trade something like this. It's so beaten down. I know it can bounce, but remember, you're always playing with fire when the stock, it can literally go bankrupt, right? It can literally be announcing things that you don't want to be hearing. So just be careful. They're called tape bombs a lot of the time. We got this term from Tommy Lackey, but I don't think he was the first one to mention it. But yeah, you got to be careful with stocks that could have tape bombs.
ONCS trying to bounce off that VWAP. Does not have the upside strength that it did on that first pop. Volume has kind of dried in here. It's all about the volume. Remember, we didn't get this range break when we didn't have that volume. When we did break to a new high there, we got some really, really good volume with it. Don't see it here yet. ONCS.
Little spike here, 86.20s, almost up about 20 cents on it. Just got to keep it going. Really looking forward to get to 86.40. And then at least at there, I'm still on a 3-to-1 outlook, and I'm not looking too bad. But let's see if we get this little spike here into the 86.50. That's where I think we could stop up.
CDIO coming back in towards that 7 handle.
86.21s, 86.22s showing up now. As we spike through the 30s, I'm going to look to put out an order like just slightly into the 40s. There's the Qs through the 299, 289.40s. Let's see if we get there to the 289.50 spot that I've been looking at. That's the Qs to the left here. You can see how we had that little bit of a push up. Looking for it to take out that 289.50s. There's Oracle on the right-hand side, starting to push here. Looking for the 86.30s to show up, and then I'm going to start looking to put out the order as it pushes through. $86.30 starting to show up. Starting to slow up here on yesterday's range. I'm looking for it to kind of push through here. Let's go, Oracle. Let's go. Still didn't get through on that Qs. We could get a little bit of a pullback here on the Qs. $34 is showing up on Oracle. Order out here to cover just slightly above. Looking for a little spike fill. In the pullback there in the Qs. You can see a little bit of that indecision here. Didn't get towards that 289.50s. DXCM ripping, says Al Rod. All right, let's go to the main chart. Let's take a look also at the sectors. Is there anything getting into the green here? Defensives has been in the green since this morning. Cyclicals starting to get into the green. Real estate getting a little bit of a push. Utilities and industrials. Energy not far behind, and neither is communication services. We'll look to see if those can get into the green. All right, back to the action. 289.40s on the Qs. Looking for the little push here for Oracle. Boom! There we go, team. Just took some out there. 86.40s. Not bad from 86.03s. Let's see if we get that next step up. Going to take the rest of it out through the 86.50s. If we can get that little drive here. There's the drive on the Qs. Looking for one more little drive on this Oracle, and then just going to take the rest of it out. Celebrate a nice little win here, at least on the day trading.
Nice
Start the
clawback.
day.
Nice clawback.
Just clawing back, team. Clawing back. Got to claw back, baby.
Yeah.
All right, it's
okay.
starting to pull back. Be careful with the pullback here. We'll see what happens. You got it,
Jay,
man.
I'm gonna address this right now, because I'm hearing this more and more.
Nice push there in the Qs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on a sec.
No, you're good, man. I'll put you up.
No. It's my thing is not responding here.
No worries. I got the Qs here pushing strong here, team. 289.89s, almost to the 290s. How's the SPY? SPY's there to 393s, so not looking too bad. It could pull back here at any moments, right? We'll see what happens, but we are getting a little bit of some bounce back on the day.
Jay, sorry, I'm trying to refresh my platform here so I can share. I'm really sorry. I think something's going on with my web browser, honestly, because now I can't see his There we go.
All right, CRM testing the lows. I took all the profits there for Oracle. Not going to battle with it. Ran for the profits. Just took it. The take your money and run type of market. I can always get back into some other names, but at least I tackled Oracle today. We'll see what happens. Out of the Oracle. This was playing off a sympathy off the report, and I could see CRM go down. I was like, they're going to try to lift maybe something else. I was also going to take a look at Adobe, just to put that in mind. But Adobe got hit recently. You can see that on their daily. There's the Qs taking off, though. The Qs still pushing. This could still push. I'm all out of it, though. I'm going to stop watching it so I don't feel like I need to jump in it again. We'll see what happens.
All right. I pulled myself together over here, Mitch, so I'm ready to go. I do want to address Jay's comment here. Folio, Andy Swan Company, the guy who I got Crocs from, likes ticker ONON, the shoe from Deck Hoka. I'm looking for a pullback to buy. Jay, I'm glad that you shared this with us. I'll be honest, I have been hearing this from guys that I know in the industry as well for like the past couple of months, including a guy that's heavy into private equity. Absolutely love ON shoes. Now, I have no personal experience with ON shoes, but all of the people that I talk to that own a pair themselves say that it is the absolute best, and they speak with such conviction about it. This is actually something that I'm starting talking too. I don't have any position yet. I'm definitely looking to load up on this. I think that this could be a great swing / long-term play. I've heard the same thing from smart people. I have a number of contacts all on the exact same side as you here, and obviously this is the same guy that gave you Crocs. Good stuff here. I'm looking for an entry here. Keep us posted on this, Jay. This is something that I'm looking forward to. I'll let you know if I open up a swing on this.
I'm smiling over here, Ryan, because dude, who has the algo on Google? Look at the 90 again, Ryan. It's gotten to the point. It's just funny for me now. Look at the 90 again. Look, just defended there, man.
That 90 is super strong. Remember, Mitch, that support level went all the way back. That went back years, and it's still in play here today. So if that breaks, though, Mitch, I think we go lower.
Yeah, it's crazy, though, because you got an opening test right there at the gate. You went to 89.77, but then all of a sudden you see a bunch of wicks. Those wicks are tricks, team.
My teammate, Jacob Bear, by the way, if you have any interest in the research products, check them out. Jacob Bear does an amazing job supporting them. Really, really class act here. Giving me a little crap, and rightfully so, saying that I'm using a green screen here to appear in my office, and my Wi-Fi on the course is starting to get a little spotty. That's why I was having some problems with Pro. Not yet, Jacob. There's actually no golf for me today. It's just a travel day, but I appreciate that.
Oh, I know you're thinking about it, though. The fairway's on your minds, my friend. I know it. All right. Are the Qs going to come right back down here? We did go back to the 290, rejected the 290, so we could swing right back down here. I'm actually looking at success for the trade here. You guys know how we've been doing a little bit more of these kind of reversal style trades here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of success here off the 2290 spot. Just got a little bit there, willing to add, but don't want to see 2290s broken. It could even pull back to it. Low on the day is 2286. So we're going to hold off to that for sure. Looking for the reversal and success.
Check this out, Mitch. Marie Else, they've been playing off that 90 on 90 level. Good for a few days. I think that she's talking about Google, but I've been playing off that 90 ON. I think you mean level. Goog on Google. I've been playing off that 90 on Google for a few days. Yep. So we highlighted that, Mitch. Looks like viewers are taking advantage of that. Sorry, I stumbled through that comment so badly. Sergey saying ON, same as DKNG. Everyone holding until dive down and burn you. Well, first of all, I have no position yet. So no, I'm not holding. And no, it is not the same thing as DraftKings. This is a shoe company versus an online betting company. But I know what you mean. A lot of people definitely into this. I haven't started building a position. And to be fair to Jay, he said he was waiting for a pullback on it. So he's not going to hold it through a down move. He's actually waiting for it to set up. That's what I want to hear. Discipline, smart, tactical trading.
All right, as we get through 2320s, I'm going to sell some, look for 2330s and 40s, and sell the rest. Just bang in, bang out right now.
Now, CDIO here, kind of trading sideways, right? So we had that initial pop there. That was good on volume, came back in. But again, much like before, we're not breaking down anymore. We're holding this level here. And I think as long as we can hold these lows down to 675, I think we're probably in good shape and might set up for another break higher later today, kind of like we saw yesterday. In fact, let me go ahead and mark this. There we go, 875. Let's see if we end up getting that here. Let me go ahead and reset my chart. Boom. And just as I said that, the curse of the commentator, we start breaking down to that support level.
Hey, it happens all the time, my friend.
Here you go, Jay boiling it down literally to the bottom line. ON. They make money. DraftKings, they lose money. That's about as cut and dry as the difference gets. Jay saying, check out the short interest on SI. All right, Jay, let's do that. Let's pull up SI in here. Check out the short interest tab. It's like our short percent of float as of the 28th, 63% of the float short, only 2.2 days to cover. So this number's a little bit low. I think the delineation line here for this number being high and low is about 5. Right, so days to cover here a little small, but the percent of float shorted definitely high here. We'll see where this ends up going. You're playing this for more downside, or are you playing this for potentially a bounce and squeeze here? By the way, I know this is really weak, but we did hold that 674 level. Oh, and it looks like Easy Mike, you were playing this for a bounce. Good stuff here. So taking a bit off. So I like what you're doing here. Mitch warned you that this was going to be a very, very risky play here and to be careful. And you're responding by trading it, by scaling in and out. I think that's really, really smart. I think that's one way to kind of mitigate that risk.
There's always one thing, and one thing you got to always keep in mind. If you got a plan, you got to plan the attack, right? The only thing that I'm always going to point to is flags here to keep in mind, right? Then you make your decisions, team. You can go after any stock. I really feel that way, but you just got to have a planned attack. Looking to see if we get another rejection from 290s here on the Qs. Above 290s, you'll actually start pushing back here into the zone where we broke down from yesterday. And it would kind of make sense, right? That the market chop continues. So just be careful out there, team. We'll see what happens. Big levels here for the Qs that it needs to get through 290s. It rejected it last time. Watching the stocks S, if it really breaks down here, we'll get out. It's right off the support on the pullback. This is slightly below where we got in, so we're just looking to see if we come back. But if the Qs take out the 290s, that's where it gets really dangerous.
I'm not touching SI. Yeah, don't blame you. CDIO now breaking down a little bit more.
There's a 290 takeout there in the Qs. We'll look to see if it pulls back there, but I have hand on the trigger to get out in stocks S.
Market looking like it's trying to bounce here and taking Tesla with it.
Out there on the stocks S there. Saw the Qs just holding in the 290s for too long there, and looks there, boom, 210s, 290 13s. There's a little bit of a drive. Saved myself some cents there. Out on the stocks S, still in the green on the day trading, but definitely lost a little bit after that nice Oracle trade. And just got to keep pushing, team. We'll see what happens. Today I'm D-sized, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. I can keep going for the base hits. But looks like we're back into the range from yesterday, and we break down the range, and look how quickly we recover the range. Wouldn't you know it? The chop continues. The volatility in this market is just ridiculous, man. Even when we get like breakdowns of ranges, things come right back. So we'll see. I mean, do we actually close up here? I'm still watching that, but at the same time, it's ridiculous. You can't get no real trend in these markets unless you're looking for extreme turnaround contrarian type of trades, right? Where you're like shorting 395s, buying it down there at 393s, shorting 394s, buying it back 393s. It's just very difficult, that style of trading. And I've talked to a lot of veterans that have been telling me the same thing. We'll see what else is going on. Q's continuing higher. Tesla continuing to push. That could keep pushing on the day. Car still working for me there. We'll see what happens on that one. NTR also pushing. Just going to keep swinging those. AU didn't fool me on pullbacks. Just going to continue to push. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's go looking around. BTU starting to get back into the green. Was keeping that on my radar. Could push through the 28s. Start really pushing. So keeping that one in mind today.
Wally here asking Ryan, can you check NTR? Yeah, let me do this here real quick. This is Nutrien Limited. I'll be honest, I have no idea what this is, so I'm learning with you. First thing that I always look at, just out of habit, is the chart. This is what jumped off the chart for me. This $70 level, I've got it marked as 70.22, but for all, we can consider this 70. This is going to be your support. We are currently in a downtrend. The price is compressing here. We're currently at 79. I would expect this to compress into here. The next question is going to be, does this break down or does this break out? All right. I don't have a leaning either way, honestly. Knowing nothing about this, I just don't have a leaning on this. And this is giving me the wrong description in there. I'll see if I can resolve that. Let me know if you have more context on this, Wally. I have no idea.
I would just say what I've been watching is the leader, MOS. If that trend can continue, I think NTR leans to the bull side. That's why I'm long on NTR. But look at MOS's chart. That's going to tell you a lot.
Should have just asked you. Should have just let you take in that one. Sorry.
It's not a big deal, man. I've been swinging this. I've been in for like multiple days now. And it came from the chat. I wanted MOS, but it was already gone. And so MOS is that middle chart you see here on the daily. Look at it compared to NTR, right? And so look at it here on the daily for NTR. Look at MOS. Very similar looking charts, right? Now one's clearly leading though, right? You can tell there that you have that nice little push here on MOS versus what you have on that NTR, which is a pullback. So I'm looking for the lag, and look how the yellow, how we've been lagging here on NTR, but MOS has just continued that up move. So if we can continue that MOS up move to like, let's say maybe even 60 and start breaking through these like 55 resistance, it's going to be looking really nice. We'll look to see if that MOS gets up into this zone. And then I could see NTR going back for these highs, 85. You see these highs right here. I'm going to look for it to come back into that range. That's the first stop. And then we can look for the 90s, even the 100 move. If MOS could keep pushing, that would be an MOS move towards 76 and 78 for like the big push towards 100 on NTR. We would look at this MOS being up here. So that's kind of like the second target.
Good stuff, Mitch.
And this is just leader laggard style trading, right? What got me about NTR was the chat started talking about it. Someone in the chat was already mentioning it, but MOS is definitely one that I watch. Another laggard in the same industry is CF. This one has a tendency of moving with MOS, but has decoupled as of recently. And then you can look at maybe like IPI. That's another one, but that one hasn't moved as of late. You could also take a look at other agricultural inputs, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's go back to it. Wouldn't you know it, team? The Sox S trade coming back to these levels. Could come back into it, but I'm not pushing my luck today. We'll see what happens. Qs did reject right back down. So who knows, man? This could be that type of day where we're just getting that chop. But overall, I think the trend is still to the upside, at least for the day. You can see that on the Qs, because if you just drew a trend line from the opening action, look how you haven't really broken that back down. You've just been climbing back. CRM, did we find the bottom in that yet? Nope, no bottom in there in CRM.
Seeing GoTo here on the scanner, obviously late to this one. I don't see any news. This thing just running like crazy. GOTU.
In a second. Boom. There you go.
Check HPX, the huge runner from yesterday, holding in there, not really coming all the way back in, but been halted a few times. Lion holding in there. Here's GoTo. Look at this move. I don't see any news on GoTo. Let me know if any of you guys see anything out there. I don't see anything. ONCS coming back in here. Didn't quite get to 3. Got as high as 296, folks, which is corresponds to that pre-market high, but didn't quite get 3. Hopefully you didn't get hurt on that. Burlington Mitch back down to 219. Sorry in advance.
Burlington can, you know what?
Yeah, you're not getting your next coat from Burlington, are you?
They
Stick to
screwed me,
Costco.
man.
Stick to
And
Costco.
the worst part is probably like today, that thing's gonna close like at like 200.
I'm not
just-
laughing. I mean, Mitch, I'm not. You
It's
made
just
me
how it
laugh at you.
goes,
That's
man.
not what I'm trying to do.
It's how it's gonna go, man. I have that feeling. Watch today it closes at 200, and I'm gonna say, you know what, to Burlington.
I mean, if it closed at 200, it would really have to start accelerating to the downside here. You're 19 points above that.
I'm telling you, man, this stock has no business being up at 219s, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Crow, you like BRTX, really trying to pop above that 4. Really haven't got any sustained run yet, but I agree that 4, you didn't really say this, so I guess maybe I'm not agreeing, but I would say that 4 here going to be your key level. We'll do the same thing here. We'll watch the volume. This is that patent application catalyst. So it's moving, but not the greatest catalyst.
Just a comment I'd like to address in the chat here. Is SQM the leader in the group with MOS? And no, that would not be the case. Remember, when we use that word group, what we want to be talking about is two things, right? There's sector and then there's industry. The sector overall is basic materials. The industry is agricultural inputs. And essentially, we're also looking, if you wanted to look a little bit deeper, it's to kind of more of kind of fertilization, that kind of things when we're looking at agricultural inputs. But and in agricultural inputs, what you do is you can just go into the industry. This is why I use my charting service, because I have this on one page. But you can do this right here, and you go to the capitalization, and you see the biggest stocks are actually CTVA. This is kind of the leader in capitalization in this stock. And then NTR is right behind that. And then if you actually look, MTR is actually bigger than MOS. So what I think it is that MOS has a tendency of leading in the price action. It's actually not the leader in capitalization, right? The leader in capitalization would be more the CTVA. So you can keep your eyes on that one if you want to see it also move. CF is behind that. And then there's a lot of smaller names. SQM is a chemical name. And it's in the chemicals. You're talking more now, your lithium, your different kind of materials there. You're in your chemicals. And so this is another industry in basic materials, the difference there. All right, getting out of that talk, I'll catch up with some other stocks. I thought CF was the leader in the MOS space. Jay, it would be right there. What I like to do is stick it to the market caps, right? Just like if I was going to, like, let's say, in Tesla's what? Auto manufacturers, right? So you go to auto manufacturers and look at the high cap name. That's Tesla. What's behind that? Toyota. And so that's the way that I look at it, team, just to kind of put it in perspective. SMMT getting a little bit of a push. Doesn't look too bad. Still slow. Sox ass coming back through the 23s. Probably going to push now after I got stopped out. That's how it goes. We'll see. Does the Qs actually reverse? Does it come right back down? Could be, team. We'll see what happens. SPY rejecting the 394s. So we'll see if it uses that as resistance and comes right back down. Meta, what's up with the Meta? Fake to the upside towards 174. Could start cracking here. We'll see it. Adobe making that up move there. Oracle looking like it came back to VWAP, still hanging on there. It eventually went towards that kind of 86.50, 86.40 spot, but it pulled back, still hasn't hit the VWAP. We'll see what happens on that one. CRM still hasn't really found that bottoming action. NVIDIA's trying to come back to VWAP there, so just keep an eye out on that one. How's AMD doing today? It's actually looking a little bit bearish there. We'll see if anything else is making moves. Stay focused always. I got you, man. And I'm not saying that you were like kind of wrong on there, but I just wanted to kind of take the approach that I go through, right? Which is just stick to the sector, the industry, work at the capitalization. That's going to be the leader. And there could also be a leader because it just is more volatile and just trades with the price action. I focus on MOS in that space. I have a feeling one of the things that I like about MOS too is that it holds patterns. There's some of these that just don't hold patterns. Like that CVTA or CTVA, that one is a little bit of a longer term trend. You got to use kind of more of that weekly pattern to find the pattern there. The daily doesn't really kind of give me that. But the weekly looks good here for continuation through this, right? Back towards 65 and 66. But this stock only moves what? On a week, $3. On a daily, about $1.61 compared to an MOS that moves what? About $1.70 on a daily basis. And on a week basis, this can move about 4 points. So it moves a little bit more than even CTVA. We'll see what happens on that MOS. What's up with the Qs? Qs at 289 now. Are we going to get back up through the 290 spot, or are we going to start rejecting it? What's in the red from the big boys? Tesla's still big green, about 3.3%. So that's bouncing back good on the day. Netflix in the green today, just off the VWAP there.
Amazon's red, Square's red, JP Morgan is red.
Gas and technology is still down. Healthcare is still in the red. What's in the green now is energy. MPC was one of my top watches there. That's starting to get a little motor going here at 129.50. Doesn't look too bad. It ran good yesterday through that 130 to that 130 spot as resistance. That's the resistance right now. Has pulled back to 128.50s. That's kind of where the support is. Gonna look to see if this can take off through towards the 130s. MPC. And then with that being said, how's Oxy doing? There's a nice little push on Oxy. Dennis and I were talking about it on pre-market prep. It could be, who knows? Maybe Warren got in a day or two ago. Ryan, are you good at understanding that kind of reporting for like Warren Buffett that has like 20% on a company? I know it's like there's like a 48-hour rule, right, to report.
Yeah. So when we get, I don't know the specifics, but when we actually get the report, it's likely been several days since they've actually entered that, right? Mm-hmm. It's not as if they enter on a Wednesday and then we get the filing on Thursday. I don't think the turnaround is that quick.
All right, I got to take a look into it because there's this huge bubble right here, right? Look at the volume jump there. It was 30 million shares traded on a red day. That gives me a little bit of a sign that who knows, maybe that's the spot. Macy's still jumping up here towards the open. My man Ron doesn't miss one. There's Macy's pushing higher. Back towards 24. Maybe this is keeping KSS strong on the day. There's 28.70s on KSS as that's been pushing. We'll see what happens. Qs overall just kind of chopping around this 290 spot. It might reject it here. Success is still giving me an opportunity to take one more attempt there. I might take one more shot on it, but like always, we just got to hold towards our risk spots. We'll see what happens here. And the Qs need to reject. It rejects the 290.25. We'll see what happens here. Success. I'm hesitating a little bit. I hate hesitating. You guys know how I'm like that. I'll take the shot there off the 22.91, 90 spot. We'll look to see if it gets the move or not. I hate hesitating, so I already worked the plan up in my mind. The risk to reward is there. We'll just see if it works out. Like always, you can't be too worried about getting too much into your mind, right? As you clearly see, I'm just giving you guys the play-by-play as literally catching my own mentality. Sometimes, and we talk about this for trading in the zone, you want to be the observer of your mind. And right now, I could catch myself. I was starting to hesitate there, and I already worked the plan. So what did I do? I tried to go more into execution mode. If I've already worked the plan, stop stressing about the trade. Take the trade.
Crow saying everything's knifing at resistance. That was a little bit earlier. I agree, Crow. And taking a look at BRTX, that was trading up. It was really kind of drifting and grinding up towards that 4 level. And then as it got closer there, bang, knifed back down, holding here at 377. So Market SPY here tried to bounce early. Looks like it might be trying to roll over here. A lot of things seem weak here this morning. ONCS is dried up. CDIO is holding that 7, but not really showing any more buying momentum here. We want this to change. No question. We want this to change.
All right. One that I am thinking about a little bit of a longer term kind of swing attempt would be off the SARK. Who's SARKing it, man? It looks interesting. It's gotten above the resistance around 43s. It's pulled back to 43 right now. And so I can see it going back to 44, but it's a little bit away from where the support is, usually not where I like to buy. Lunch money. We with you. Lunch is on you, though. Sends you lunch money. All right, we'll look to see if that success works or not. I'm looking for it to get back towards 23.20s. That's where we can take some profit, then look for it to make the move. But I'll show you that SARK trade and why I kind of like it. You see, I was trying to reclaim this 43s. Of course, you missed out on the first kind of bottoming action. But one thing that I've noted is that this is starting to make a nice little daily move back up. We were watching it even over here in the 40s, and it's starting to make a move to 43. ARKK is starting to kind of pull back. Will this kind of crack? I think this is just more if you feel that the growth trade is just going to keep coming back down. Roblox had a really good move out the gates, right? And ever since then, it's just been on a big pullback. We'll look to see what happens. Qs, what you gonna do when they come for you? Like that one, Ryan?
The Q. What are you going to do when the Qs come for you? Yeah, but sorry, I was reading the news feed here.
Ryan's a bad boy, bad boy.
I don't know about that, Mitch, but I'll take it. That sounds like a compliment, so I'll take it. Becca's saying here, can you check UWMC? My goodness, on the daily, looks like it hit a top. Well, so first of all, yesterday morning, they reported earnings. That's one of the reasons why it's moving here. This morning, you got a bunch of re-ratings here. I got an upgrade from Keefe, Brute, and Woods. KBW, I'm going to call that. Price target of 4. JP Morgan maintains an outperform, price target of 5.5. Interestingly enough, Credit Suisse going the underway, reiterating an underperform and a 3.5 price target. Goldman Sachs neutral and price target at 375. If we take a look at the chart here, this is what Becca's talking about. It is running up into resistance right here. So we've got the resistance that goes all the way back to February of 2022. Let's see if it goes back even further. Nope. So right in here, once it tried to break out of this, couldn't. Came back in, tried to break out of it right here, couldn't, tried to break out of it right here, couldn't, and now it's trying again. So what we actually want to see here is we want to see a close above this level. Right now, we're right at this level. It could very easily come in here today. We want to see a close above this level. That would confirm that maybe we're reversing here and trying to go higher. Mitch, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said there.
You're good, man. I just wanted to announce I took some profits there on Success through the 20s into the 25s. Took it there at exactly, it's going to be at 26. So as soon as it hit the 26, jumped off of there. We'll look to see if that can get back up to the highs now towards the 40s. Of course, we did lose on this one earlier. So that first profit take, what it does is that it essentially puts me back to break even on the name. Now I'm essentially only down about $1. So it just shows it goes to show you that my profit to loss ratio wasn't perfect on this trade, but at least I've gotten it back to just break even. So now I can just hold on, kind of break even on the rest, or it can go in my favor. And at least if I lose on this name, I lost about a tiny bit on the name. So we'll see what happens. SPY cut down back towards the 393s. We got to take a look there at the stock that's going against the market early strong, which was Tesla. Let's look to see if this comes back to VWAP and how it reacts there. Microsoft, keep your eyes on some of the bigger names. Are those going to go red? Apple's actually pretty weak here. Let's see if it recovers towards 145, but it is kind of weak here.
I am seeing Tesla calls getting bought here. So this move, it looks like it's kind of retracing this bounce attempt on Benzinga Pro through the unusual option activity. I'm seeing the 185 calls getting bought, repeat buys in the 185s, the 187.5s, and the 210s. Those are cheapies. That's only a 60K trade there, but lots of different Tesla calls being bought here.
Francis asking, can you really do technicals on a derivative like SARK? Hell yeah. If anything, I think it makes more sense because it's like an ETF, right? It's diversified. I just look at ARK. If you want, just look at ARK and just think the opposite, right? So you're looking for a short setup on ARK, and then that's usually going to look like a long setup on SARK. just as simple as that. I like to keep it, but I don't know. What would you think, Ryan? Do you think you could do technicals on a chart like SARK with
Yeah, I mean, I do them all the time.
ARKK?
So two questions here, Mitch. Yeah, I do them all the time. Predominant, I don't really trade SARK, but I do it on things like SOXS and SQQQ. I watch all of those. No matter what chart I pull up, I watch the technicals. Really, the second question here is how much do those actually matter? And you can make the argument either way, in my opinion. I think that technicals for individual companies probably work better in the long run. I would take the other side from you on this one, Mitch.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do it on all of them. I think one of the things that, because everything's effectively averaged when you're dealing with either an ETF or something like SARK like that, yeah, I get the argument. I don't know. To me, the technical is not going to determine if one of those ETFs reverses, right? The underlying asset is going to determine that. So why would you not chart then the underlying asset?
Agreed. That's why I said stick to like the ARKK, and I stick to that setup first, and then I move to SARK a lot of the time. So I agree with that outlook too, Ryan. I think right there, it's like both sides, right? And that's why I wanted to go to Ryan's opinion there. So like always, team, there's not one way.
Nope.
But I do agree sometimes technicals can get ruined on certain charts like that have big gaps. But SARK does sometimes have some gaps on the chart, but it's not as massive. And one thing that I like about SARK is that you look in the past, it's actually traded off of patterns. And that tells me a little bit better, right? Like the opening action for SARK was a lot of flags action that kept holding. Eventually, we got this breakdown. And we've been in a breakdown for a while, coming back to 36 and kind of been in this bounce back mode.
Yeah, Walter summing up kind of how I feel about this a little bit more succinctly than I did. I like to chart both. However, give the underlying the most credence. That pretty much sums up. That pretty much sums up where I fall in that.
They always say the underlying asset's the most important, right?
Yeah,
Understanding that is very important.
Question.
I've heard that in school multiple times, and I pay attention to that.
Burlington down to 214 now, Mitch. Mitch is gonna. I was like, Mitch is gonna end up kicking me off this thing if I keep mentioning it.
Let's just say that I'm lucky that button's there.
I like how the deep sigh and then the string of swears. Crow, BRTX went. BRTX, so it did break through that 4. I think what I like the most here, Crow, is that it actually back tested that 4. You see, the last time we punched through 4 here, we just knifed right back down below it. That 1 minute candle closed below that 4 level. This next one here did not do that. We closed above, we back tested it. Now it looks like we might be ready to go higher. Next spot here on BRTX. Let's go ahead and mark it here. Going to be that pre-market high right at 435. So it looks like we almost tried to test that. Let's see if we hold 4 here and go.
Out success on that reversal action, and I'm just not going to play the chop, right? I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to just take the first hit back. At least that put us back through the success. Keeps us in the green on the day for the day trading, and we can keep playing. Look at the SPY just come right back up. The chop is amazing in this market. And look at that. Right back through the VWAP, right back up towards the top of the range. This is where I tell you guys, the algos are winning on these moves. We got to be careful.
I just said a few minutes ago, it looked like SPY wanted to roll over. Now we're punching out of that range here to the upside. So
that just goes to show you, right? Yeah, and I've heard from experienced traders a comment that I'm not going to give the name, right? Because it's not the idea there, but that an experienced trader even told me I'm staying away from the indexes, and there's a reason why. So I take that also. You can always take it with a grain of salt, but if you look at the indexes, how many times are we seeing these big wicks and reversals back to the upside, which normally in stocks like that, when you're starting to see that, it's the opposite, right? And so we're seeing a lot of opposite action off of the patterns. BRTX went.
BRTX trying here. Let's see if it can actually punch through. 425 is where I have the last bit of volume here. The high print was technically higher than that. Let's see if I get a reading on that here. But
TRM is coming back.
431.
I will note that it's trying to recover the 189 spot that we talked about earlier. Just taking a look at it, seeing if it really is going to push. Oracle's back above the VWAP. I was looking at maybe getting back into Oracle right here on the VWAP, right slightly above, maybe 86.15s. But now it's starting to push there. We'll see if that can keep pushing there. And Adobe's another one that I've been keeping an eye on because I thought that this could get the sympathy off the report. You see Adobe pushing strong here. So who knows? Maybe CRM really recovers the VWAP and then starts holding 190. I'm going to wait for CRM to get to that 190 before I try to call it, but we'll find out there if we get the comeback. AC is still now pulling back there. I'm just taking a look at like some stocks that had earnings today. So I'm going to quickly run through there. If you guys got any stocks out there you guys want to watch, definitely throw them up here. What about the Six Flags? Six Flags was actually doing pretty well off of their earnings report. Keeping an eye out on it. I haven't traded Six Flags in a long time.
I haven't been to Six Flags in a long time. Roller coasters not my thing anymore.
Yeah, not my thing anymore either. That's why it's like, do I really want to go to a theme park? Nah, a lot of times I don't.
I'd rather go golfing.
Right? That sounds even a little bit better than that. And you guys know I'm not even a golfer. All right, looking around to see what's into the green. Energy continuing. And so my MPC, that's probably looking nice. Ooh, that one actually hasn't run yet. What about the LNG? Look at that, team. We're finally getting that move in LNG. I think that it's starting to hold a little bit of a push here, right? We've been talking about this one multiple days. I still haven't gotten in this one, but now that 160 is starting to hold. Looks interesting there. How's the UNG? Continuing up through the nines, man. That cut down. That was a tough one.
Nat Gas made a nice move here today, too.
Picard coming back towards 73.20s. That's not looking too bad. NTR pushing strong. At least looking good on some of the swings that I have out there. SI getting weak. Yeah, I wouldn't touch that. That doesn't look that great.
Buddy trying to destroy my house.
Of course. That's his job.
Ron says, now I'm showing my age because I'd rather golf than go on roller coasters. Actually, you're right, Ron. You're right.
Hey, gotta call it. Hey, right? Gotta call a spade a spade.
Oh, Jay, this is interesting. Last time I went to Six Flags with the kids, the next day I felt like I went 12 rounds with Mike Tyson in his prime. Let me tell you something. You survived 12 rounds with Mike Tyson in his prime. You are a tough mother.
What's tough is those wooden roller coasters. Oh my God. Talk about shock absorption. You feel like your spine just was in a car accident.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So BRTX, really quick here. I know we're having a lot of fun. Market's kind of slowing down. But BRTX here, this is not over yet, Crow. So I know you said it went, and it did. It did go through 4. It gave us a nice little scalp trade here. But it will be interesting to see if this can actually kind of hold along for. What do we got? Our VWAP here. Oh, no, see? VWAP here at 385. So if this can really hold for, maybe we can actually curl back up to that 435. Actually wouldn't be surprised if this kind of knifed through 4 and then maybe found some support near or at the VWAP and then traded back up. BRTX still on deck here. And then ONCS, it looks like, is this trying to turn around here? Okay, so ONCS holding this 236. Let's see if we get a curl here. Remember what Crow was saying earlier. So one of the things that we've noticed recently is that a lot of these topside range breaks aren't really working. CDIO really kind of the antithesis of that, really the only one that has worked. Sorry, I couldn't find the word right there. But it looks like some of these curls off the support level might be a good play. ONCS looks so far like it's doing it. Let's see if we can actually curl back up towards the VWAP. VWAP here at 269, nice-ish. And we're currently at 244, so you're still looking at about 20 plus cents here on a potential trade.
SPY trying to go a little bit higher here. Are we going to get a push above? With that being said, I'm looking at Roblox right now because there's multiple bottom off this 37. This is a reversal style trade. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a shot here off the 36 395 spot. So I got here 37.06 for Roblox. Going to take the shot back towards the upside on it. Reversal style off the 37. Saw the SPY get a little bit of a push there. That's what got me a little bit more for this type of trade. You see it here above the resistance, the 394s. Let's see if we can get a 3-minute or even a 5-minute candle on the SPY to close above towards 394. I'll be looking good for a little bit back into the range. And wouldn't you know it, the chop. All right, at VWAP, I'll take majority of it off, 37.40s, and then we'll look to see if Roblox can even really push. But I'm going to take a majority of it off at that 37.40s and then look for it to keep working. The cat's out the hat. Yeah, that's why I'm not stressing too much about Picard. Cat looking good. Remember the one that I was looking at that I needed to recover is Deer through 420s. Get that one. All right. Nice. But Deer has the 420 holding right now, and it's starting to push there. Look at these multiple bottoms at the 417. Remember, this one had earnings, came back to 417. Now it's starting to look like it wants to get back through this trend. Deer doesn't look bad at all, really. It just needs to get to 430s, and I'll be feeling good about my Picard trade, which I'm long from 72.12s from yesterday, and really looking for this. Remember, what did I do yesterday? I looked at the support. 72.12s is just slightly above the support of 71.80s on the daily. So now I'm looking for it to really start coming back through some highs. First one is going to be that it's going to be very important. It's around the 74. But this one did get some analyst ratings up there towards 80s. So I'm looking to see if Picard can come back. And remember, this one did a 3-for-2 split because it wanted to get right back underneath 100. Let's see if it can get to 100 again.
TRKA being mentioned in the chat here. TRKA, a penny stock, opened right around 48 cents here, trading up towards 58 cents. Nice little grind higher. I agree with you guys. This is a nice little slowly climbing. So that's not one on my radar, not one I'm trading, but nice day here so far, up 23.5%. I don't really have any other upside targets here. I guess we could look at the daily and try and figure that out. Kind of at resistance right here at 60 cents. Next consolidation area is between 60 and 80 cents. Or 60, excuse me, is that 68? Yeah, 68 and 80.
SPY closed right at 394.09. Now starting to make a little bit of a step up. Let's see if it holds that 394 on pullbacks right now and then takes the next step towards 394.50s. So I'm looking, the SPY right here, right? So you see this close, it was right above the 394 spot. Now I'm looking to see if we're going to push through that high, which was 394.37 towards the 394.50 spot. And what do? You're almost back to yesterday's closing price of 394.78. Can you believe that, Ryan? After that overnight action where Tesla was down like 7%, you know, you were down there on the SPY in the overnight action towards 391, back to 394. Wouldn't you know it?
Well, that's kind of what we outlined from the chart, right? So if we take a look here, let me throw my chart up here real quick. Here's your daily chart. So these are the levels that we've been looking at, right? I do think we're getting a bounce here. We're really kind of jostling right around this blue line, which is the 200-day moving average. Again, this is on the daily chart. But we did try to come in towards that 100-day. I have the 100-day at what 391.46, or excuse me, 35. Excuse me. So it didn't quite get all the way down there, but it did kind of make a move. Now, the thing is that we want to see where this candle closes, right? I mean, for me to say that this is any type of reversal, we need to close above 395, and we probably need more than one. I don't know that we're going to actually get that. 395. And here, Lofi saying 395 is the target. So what's interesting here about Lofi, I can't even believe I just said that. Lofi music. If this trades back up to 395 and kind of closes maybe right beneath that, I still don't think that that's going to confirm that we've reversed here. We want to see it close above that level. And like I said, we want to see more than one. But that might be the upside target here for the day. Going to fill that gap on the 15 minutes. So let's take a look and see if we can find what he is talking about there.
SPY rejecting 394s now, right back down. So be careful, team. The chop is not something even easy to mess with right now. Chop.
Here's the gap that he's talking about, looking like it's going to try to fill that. That I have the bottom of that candle, not quite at 395, 394.55, but I think this is what you're referring to.
Avoid bull market habits in bear markets.
Yes.
That's a hard one to do, right? Especially when we're getting some people that says we're in a bull market. So looking to see if we're going to get a little recovery here. If not, just going to stop out. The SPY is just chop, man. It closes above 394, wicks to the upside, and then right back down. It's almost like the algos are just trying to stop people out, man. And they just rip it higher. The volatility on the market right now is just insane. And there's no continuation, really. You get breakdowns, and then you just come right back through the support. So with that being said, technicals have had a real disadvantage in this market as of late. Hands on the trigger right now. I'm about to get out. See if I get cut here. SPY's just hanging on by a thread. Comes back to VWAP. I'll definitely get out. No buyers coming in. I'm out. Took the hit there, team. Right back now to break even on the day after a nice trade on Oracle. Balancing there on Success. Took a win, took a loss. Now took another loss there on Roblox here for the reversal off the 37. Didn't work out. And of course, the SPY now bouncing a little bit. So it could come back there. But the SPY is just too much chop today, man. And with that being said, enough mental capital for me. I'm done for the day.
Well, we're almost done here. So
yeah, man. I am I'm gonna probably just keep the swing trades I have on right now, and I'm probably not even gonna be opening up some new trades today. Just not feeling it today. It's not that type of day.
that's how it goes sometimes. Important that you can recognize that and not compound your problems, though, Mitch.
Yeah, and it's how it is, right? You'll see Burlington 220s tonight.
No, well, it did start to bounce. It did start to bounce here. So it did not continue lower since the last time I told you about it.
But it did go through my break-even spot.
I'm not going to laugh at you for that, man. I don't want to see that happen. Good shout here, Jay. I actually don't have Squawk on today. Sometimes I have it in an earbud in my ear. Don't have it on here today. Appreciate the looking out. BBIA on Squawk. What was some of the color that he gave on that? I guess maybe I can look that up here. Let me see. No, might not be anything printed on it. Yeah, White Raven pointing out a really good relationship here. The SPY and the dollar move inversely, and he's saying if you want to know what the SPY is doing, watch the dollar. BBAI, this is a nice move here off the VWAP. What's going on here? Do we have any news? Oh, man.
Oh, man. You guys see it. You guys see it on my chart.
No.
Success trying to come back. It's just the chop land out there. The chop land. What are the Qs doing? Rejecting the 290s? Yeah, slightly above. About 290s 10. 15-minute, though, looks like a nice rejection there. Starting to pull back. CRM, no bueno. CRM looks like it's trying to come back towards that 187. Oracle probably came back down. Yeah, it's right back at the VWAP. NTR looks like the best one right now in Pakar, but I'm just going to leave those working because at least those trades are deep into my favor, and I've already taken some profit on Pakar. Have yet to take profit on NTR, but really want that to get through at least towards the 80s before we're taking some profit, and we're almost there right now. So we could get a little bit of a spike in NTR to take some profits. But really looking for a little bit more on this one. I haven't got any ads because off of my entry, it just really hasn't come back to that spot. So was looking at it today to see if we were going to come back to that spot. On this cut through, we went to 77.92s, but I'm at 77.81. So still didn't cut down through there. Just going to keep an eye on it.
Go to moved through that 4 level as high as 414 here. But I don't see anything going on with this.
Go to. All right, let's take a look here.
Yeah, I don't see any news here. This is just an education, right? Is this from China? Yeah, People's Republic of China. Yeah. ONCS just kind of holding that level that we talked about.
Yes, sir, Travis.
He covered it this morning, Travis. RKDA
yes,
halt call. Oh, big halt. Print up. What happened? Is there a news here? Let's see. Circuit breaker halt. Okay. So just volume pop. It looks like here, Jay.
Man, MOS today. Look at that strength. Definitely relative strength there in those agricultural inputs. CF starting to get going. This is actually one I'm considering just because look at the daily levels. Look at this sideways consolidation. Doesn't look too bad for me. BLDR. It's a stock that was mentioned by Kristen Fromhertz on Tuesday when he was on Start Swing Trading. That's continued its strength. Look at those pullbacks, higher lows, holding this resistance. If anything, it's starting to hold even up here towards 84.29s. Now looking to make another step up towards 86. This one's not a bad one. Builder First Source just had recent earnings and continuing the strength.
BBAI looks like this is moving towards the highs again here on BBAI. Wally, you want me to check JD? What am I looking at? What do you want me to check? What's the context around this? This is another Chinese stock, isn't it? Yeah, second largest e-commerce. I have no line on this, Wally. I'm sorry. I don't deal with the China stuff. Gappy up to 51, I guess. That's about all I see. Sorry, my man.
Looking at to see if we're going to get a breakdown here, team. The SPY's looking like it wants to break down here. Could take one more shot at the stock's ass, but you have to be off a really tight risk.
CDIO still holding in here. So again, just like yesterday, we want to see if this can actually hold up through the course of the session today and then make a move above that 775. We'll see if it ends up doing it a little bit later here today like it did yesterday. Keep this on the radar, though.
All right, team. Last trade of the day for me. Going to risk off the low on success here. 2274s will be the risk here. So it's very, very tight for the risk, at least for me. And I'm taking a long here. And the SPY would need to come back below VWAPs here. But we'll look to see it above 394s. I'll get stopped out.
on UWMC. Remember, Becca, you had asked to take a look at this earlier. You said it looks like it's pushing up to a resistance point, and bingo, so far, that's exactly what's happened here. We did break above a little bit, but we were unable to hold it, and now it actually looks like it's coming back in. So we were not able to take this level out and take the next leg up. Instead, we've broken down. Now, today's session is still going on. This is not over yet. If we take a look at the intraday chart here, you can see it really ran up to that resistance at 5 and kind of came back in. Let's see where this ends up closing today. That's going to tell me more than the action that's actually going on today. 5, a clear resistance point. In fact, now that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and mark this off in my chart. This won't be the last time we talk about this stock, that's for sure.
All right. What do you think about GE short? I've been fighting myself not to do it again, Voodoo. I like it, but that doesn't mean I take it. I'm going to wait for it to break the trend. So what I mean by the trend, there's a trend line on it. I'll show you right now. So on GE, if you take a look, I've shorted this. I've won on one and lost on one trade on this one. But look at this trend here. That's my worry with this. Like, it just kind of holds. And even when you think like a day here, you're going to break it, kind of holds there. So I don't know if you want to use a moving average or you just want to use a trend. But for me, I needed to break the trend first, and then I can look for the short. But if I keep shorting into a name that has new highs, that just doesn't seem smart for me. I can't blame you if you go after it, but I don't like shorting stocks that are making new highs on the day, right? Like, it's just hard. I think this can turn around at some point, but it's been a really strong name. And if you look at XLI, the kind of sector that it's in, it's just hanging in there. I haven't seen that broken down either. If for some reason I saw a big breakdown on those, then yeah, I could go for it. I've been trying to stick with it by looking at Honeywell, because Honeywell has broken down as of late. It's nowhere near as strong as GE is, but we'll keep an eye on it. Can't blame you for looking at it, Voodoo.
All right, Mitch, I'm going to get rolling here. I got some stuff to do before I head out here for the day. Sorry about today. Tomorrow is a new day. When are we expecting Zunaid back?
I'm going to check on that. I think we can get him in tomorrow, but I'll confirm with him just to double check there to see if we're all set there. I'm pretty sure I could probably get him at least coming in tomorrow. So stick around, team. We'll see him on tomorrow. See if Zunaid can join in.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So I'm not going to be here tomorrow or Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. But we are going to be right back at this on Tuesday. We are going to make sense of everything going on. Take care. Stay green. Stay safe, folks.
All right, there you guys have it. I tried it. Sock's ass didn't work this time, and that's just how it goes. It stopped me out there on that recent pullback. Could come right back up there. Really small stop out there. It's about 10 cents there for me, and just took a little bit of a shot to see if it'd work. SPY could still, and the Qs could still come down. It's just a chop type of day. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'll take you guys over to Benzinga Live. That's going to be next. So you guys can stick into that chat room. I know that you guys say all the time that you guys want to stick around and keep talking. Well, don't go anywhere. This is going to redirect you over to Benzinga's Live's room. In that room, of course, go ahead and keep chatting about the market. You guys can keep talking there. None of you guys have to go anywhere. Just come on over to the next stream and keep talking in the chat. We'll keep it going. I'm going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to keep watch on AU. AU is pulling back. That might be one of the names that I add to later in the day. NTR still working for me there. Picard still working for me. I'm not running away from these names by any mean. I'm just going to keep trying to trade these, and we'll see what happens. Today, definitely taking a Burlington beating, but we'll see what happens on that one. It's actually below where I was actually in it, and that's just how it goes sometimes, team. Best Buy was the one that I had high conviction, but look how it opened. It even came back. So that just goes to show you, Best Buy, no, it doesn't want to go away right now. And like always, team, one thing that I'll always be with you guys is just transparent, right? You guys will clearly see it. I'm not going to hide from my losses. I'm going to also talk about my winners sometimes. And like always, we're going to see both sides of the coin. There's not one way to trade. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the process approach that we do right here on live trading. Smash the like before you go. Now bring you over to that Benzinga Live room where you guys can keep talking. And the chat room's open there, team. You don't got to go anywhere. Let's keep battling on the day.
Check